What's up, guys? My name's Rob. I got an unboxing today of a new shoe from Nike. I'm going to be going over some of the features of it and some questions that I've seen kind of lingering around on this new model. So let's jump in. All right, don't cut towards yourself. All right, so this is a little bit different of a box. You can tell right here. If you look up at the top, you can see it's definitely an Air Force One. This shoe is called the Air Force One React QS. It's also been nicknamed the Air Force One White Ice. All right, so I've gone ahead and opened it up a bit. It is a pretty typical Air Force One box. Like I said, you get the Force logo there. It's kind of hard to see. It's all in white. Opening it right on up, you can already see some major differences between the Air Force One. Probably seen before. I will give a brief explanation of what this shoe is. This is basically a hybrid between the Air Force One and the Nike React runner trainer shoe. They dropped on May 8th, 2020. They retailed at $120. I will say on the secondary market, on StockX and whatnot, they are already going for a minimum of $50 over retail. So they're definitely a cool pickup. All right, so I'm excited to go over some of this. Some of this shoe is really cool, really interesting. The first thing I'll talk about, it's going to be, I don't know if you can see with the lighting here, there is this logo on the side, DMSX. So I've seen a lot of questions before these shoes came out and with the earlier colorways they dropped. People were really confused on what that means. I have a little bit of information about it that I've done like my own research on. So DMSX, sometimes called DIM6, it's one of three lines Nike's doing that are kind of flying under the radar. One of those other three, or the other two, I should say, is called the 10th, and that's based on Bill Bowerman, the founder of Nike's time in the military, where he served with the 10th Mountain Division and Arctic. They specialize in like Arctic warfare. That's a pretty cool line. The other one is the N354, I believe. That line is really taking a lot of ideas from like the prototypes in the Nike archives, which is also super cool. And then the DIM6 line is essentially a sporty take on classic silhouettes. They're really going for like, they said, cutting edge aesthetics. So this shoe, it did come in some other drops. There were some other colorways that came previously to this one. I believe there was 5 other ones with some pretty crazy colorway names. The first one being the white and pure platinum, the black violet star barely volt anthracite, the black gym red gym blue white, and the white university red black. The last one, and in my opinion not my favorite one, is the wolf gray, smoke gray, dark gray, and white. That's a lot of gray. I'm not a huge fan of that shoe. The other 5 colorways weren't taken as well as this one has been so far. Those 5 I believe are all either at or under retail value on the secondary market. So I think it might have just taken a colorway that's this clean, kind of looks classic. I think it kind of just took this colorway to get people hyped and on board with this shoe. The colorway on this one is called white. It's a white sail, rush coral, and light bone. The rush coral comes from the insole there. I might be able to take one of those out. It comes from the insole. You can also see it on the bottom through the translucent sole. So that's going to be like your rush coral. It's a really good looking shoe. I really like it, especially in comparison to the other ones in this line. I was under the impression that these were not going to be a limited colorway, though I did wake up, I bought these for retail before they sold out, and I checked a day or two later and they were no longer on the Nike website, and the only place that I'm finding them is a secondary, like a reseller, a secondary market. StockX Goat has them. They took about 2 weeks to ship, about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, and they're already around $50 minimum above retail price on the secondary market, depending on your size. I've seen them up to $300. and certain sizes, but those are obviously like the bigger sizes and much smaller sizes that there's not as many pairs in. All right, so for some details, I'm going to go ahead and do like a little point of view. So I'm going to start off with one of my favorite parts is the branding of this shoe. The branding is really interesting. You can see the tongue of this shoe is a little longer than a traditional Air Force One. I think the reason being is for this branding. It's kind of hard to see without it focusing though, so let's go ahead and focus up. You can tell it's kind of got that transition. There we go. Yeah, so it says Nike React, Nike Air, which is pretty sweet. And then it does the same thing on the back. Goes from, it's kind of hard, Air, and then underneath it is React. In person, it shifts very fluidly. On camera, it doesn't like to pick it up, which is super weird. Of course, you got the reflective laces, the reflective dots on the laces, as well as the reflective swoosh on the side. I'll go ahead and get some light. Might be able to tell. Yeah, you got the reflective swoosh. And then the swoosh, obviously enlarged, and it's no longer sewn on. It's rather printed in a much bigger form. I think another cool thing is the eye stay is very exaggerated. I know that on the normal Air Force One, you get a little bit of this like rigidity, the bumpiness there, or like the waves. They really exaggerated it on this one, and I really, really like how that came out. I think that accents the shoe in a really unique way. It's kind of, I think one of the more obvious things is the materials they used. Obviously, it's not a leather like a normal Air Force One. You've got the mesh here, as well as a mesh toe box, which some of the other models, the colorways of this line, actually kept the leather toe box. So I think that's really cool. I don't think there's going to be a lot of creasing on this shoe. They're going to stay nice and longer, which is really a plus. All right, so some other cool aspects of this shoe that I found pretty interesting. We know Air Force Ones traditionally are not the most comfortable shoe. Just kind of a lack of anything with the insole or technology in that sense. What's interesting though is that I've taken the insole out, obviously. There is no midsole. I don't think you can see down there, but you can literally see right through the bottom of the shoe. So instead of really adding any new technology into the midsole, they just put a really thick insole in it. It is pretty comfortable, but it does feel a little different. There's these ridges on the Nike React insole. Kind of actually massages your feet a little bit while you're walking around, which is different, but once you're used to it, kind of feels kind of good. And then you got the air pocket on the bottom of the insole. It is actually a comfortable shoe, at least in comparison to other Air Force Ones. The orange, or that coral color, you can see through the bottom of the shoe. As I say, it is the translucent blue sole, which I'm actually super into on shoes. I like it. I think I was first kind of into it because of the Jordan 11 Concord. I love that shoe, and I think the translucent soles are really a good touch. The other thing is now, instead of just saying Air in this area, you can see Air there. It's the same color, so I'm sure the camera's not picking it up, but you do see Nike React on this piece, and then this is like a plastic piece that actually goes all the way around the shoe. Cool. Now, I apologize, and I'm filming this myself, so it's a little difficult, especially with my autofocus being awful. But in this area, and on the back area here, where usually on an Air Force One, you'd see the little star pattern, there's actually the Nike React pattern. Might be more visible on the sole, where you get these these ridges and this kind of like cool, I don't really know what you call it, but it's more of like a technology kind of focused pattern, rather than those stars that you traditionally get. So the last thing we got to talk about, of course, is fit. I know Nike Air Force One, people tend to say get a half size down. I think I would agree with that with this shoe to an extent. Personally, I am a true size 11 in Nike, and this, I did get a 10.5. It does fit a little bit snug. So I think going true to size could be okay. I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that the insole is so thick, but I would assume that the lack of a midsole with the thickness of the insole, I think they'd cancel one another out. So, I think at this point it'd be personal preference. Do you want it to fit maybe a little looser? You could always tighten them down a little bit more with the laces. It is going to fit snug if you go a half size down, but not uncomfortably. Like I said, this is a 10.5. I have put them on, and they feel fine. I think going true to size is okay, but you might still get a little bit of heel slip or something. Overall, I'm really actually impressed with these and how they feel comfort-wise and fit-wise. I mean, Air Force One, traditionally not the most comfortable shoe, but they surprised me, especially just being an insole. That's really it. So I do want to know what you guys think. I want to know what other people think about them. At the end of the day, you got to wear what you want. You got to wear what you like. Otherwise, you're messing up. You're missing out, because that's what it's about. You got to wear what you like. If you don't wear what you like, you're trying to impress people that really, they don't care. That's the thing, is they don't care, and you might be missing out on something that you actually do genuinely like, and you might make something like a trend yourself. So, go with what you like. I know this isn't going to be everybody's favorite shoe. Personally, I love it. It's one of my favorites right now. I think it's super cool, but not everybody's going to agree with that, and that's okay. But I do want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you have to say about the shoe, what you think about the colorway, the style. What do you think about the Dim 6, that line that's coming out? I don't know. There's not a ton that I'm hearing about it, but I want to know what other people think about it. I personally think it's really cool. I think it's a pretty forward way of looking at it, and I know I'll probably get hate for this, but there's only so much you can do with an Air Force One. Personally, I think it is that and the Nike Blazer, the two best silhouettes in history, in my opinion. But I think it's really cool to take like a very modern, progressive take on the Air Force One. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you watching, and let me know if it's a cop or a drop for you.